years passed on this day, 20th May. In the year 2004, on this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, visited devotees during house visits as well as delivered the public satsang in Karaikuri, Tamil Nadu. In the year 2005, on this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was with delegates of Kailasa experiencing the Himalayan Yatra. During the Yatra, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares the beautiful truth of having darshan with the avatar. The word darshan is traditionally used to describe the moment when an individual beholds a deity, a saint, an enlightened being, or an incarnation. The experience of darshan is highly revered in Vedic tradition, and just seeing a divine or enlightened being can cleanse the karmas of lifetimes and create deep and lasting transformation in an individual. Although the word darshan is usually translated as divine vision or holy sight, like many mystical Sanskrit words, darshan simply cannot be translated. Rather, it is something that has to be experienced to be truly understood. Yasya darshan matrena manasasyat prasannata swayam bhuyat dhritishanti sabhavet paramo guruhu. By whose mere darshan, vision, the mind becomes delighted with great joy, prasannata, and firm patience and peacefulness, dhriti shanti, happens by itself. He is certainly the Parama Guru, Supreme Master. This is from the 3rd chapter of the Guru Gita. Here we have the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism expanding on this verse of the darshan with the avatar.
இந்த புவனங்கள் பெற்றவளும் நீ என்னறிய ஜீவ கோடிகள் இந்த அப்பனே என் குறைகள் யார் குறைப்பே குறை தீர்க்கும் தூயவா குன்றம் போல் நின்றவா நித்யானந்த தேவா குறை தீர்க்கும் தூயவா குன்றம் போல் நின்றவா நித்யானந்த தேவா மாதாட மழுவாட மதியாட புனராட மங்கை சிவகாமியாட மான பயன் அடைந்தினேனே. தடமென்ற மெடிகரையில் அந்த மாதங்களெனும் தாவர பின்னலிட்டு தாயென்று பேயென்று நீ என்று நான் என்று தமிழேனே எவ்வண்ணமா. கிடையென்று கடை நின்று ஏனென்று கேளாதிருப்பதும் அழகாகுமோ. இன்னலை தீர்க்கவே இன்பம் காட்டி வாழியனே நித்யதேவா. இன்னலை தீர்க்கவே இன்பம் காட்டி வாழியனே நித்யதேவா. பம்பு தூணியமல்ல வைப்பல்ல மாரணம் தம்பனம் வசியமல்ல பாதாள வஞ்சனம் பரதாய பிரதேசம் அது வல்ல ஜாலமல்ல. அம்பு குண்டுகள் விழவும் ஒளியும் மந்திரமல்ல ஆகாய குளிகை அல்ல. அன்போடு செய்கின்ற வாபோடிகளன் கும்பமுனி மச்சமுனி கட்டமுனி பிரம்மரிஷி கொங்கனர் மொழிப்பாணியும் போராக்கர் வள்ளுவர் போகமுனி இவரெல்லாம் கூறிடும் வைத்தியமல்ல. என்பனது உன்னடி விட்டு நீங்காது நிலை நிற்கவே புகழ வருவாய். என் மனதில் நீங்காது நின்றிடும் நீசனே நித்யானந்தரேவா. என் மனதில் நீங்காது நின்றிடும் நீசனே நித்யானந்தரேவா. நொந்து வந்தேன் என்று ஆயிரம் சொல்லியும் செவியென்ன மந்தமுண்டு. முற்பனறி அறியாத பிள்ளையை பெற்ற பின்னோக்காத தந்தை உண்டோ. தந்தமும் தஞ்சம் என்றடியை பிடித்த பின் தளராத நெஞ்சமுண்டோ. தந்தி முகனர் முகன் இரு பிள்ளை இல்லையோ தந்தை நீ மலடுதாரோ. விந்தையும் ஜாலமும் உன்னிடம் இருந்தி வினையொன்றும் அறிகிறேனே. வீரமும் சாத்திரமும் உன்னையே புகழுதே வேடிக்கை இது வல்லவோ. இந்த உலகீரேழுமே அளித்தாய் இனிமே நான் உன்னை விடுவதில்லை. எப்பிறவி எடுத்தாலும் உன் பதம் வேண்டுமே நித்யானந்த குருவே. எப்பிறவி எடுத்தாலும் உன் பதம் வேண்டுமே நித்யானந்த குருவே. வழி கண்டு உன்னடியை புரியாத போதிலும் வாஞ்சையில்லாத போதும் வாலாயமாய் கோயில் புக்காத போதிலும் பஞ்சமே செய்த போதும் தலைவிக்கு பாதி உடலீத்தனி பாலகரை காக்குறாரோ. எழில் பெரிய அண்டங்கள் அடுக்காய் அமைத்தனி என் குறைகள் தீர்த்தம் பெரிதோ. என் குற்றம் போக்கியே என் மனம் குளிர வரும் நித்யானந்த குருவே. என் குற்றம் போக்கியே என் மனம் குளிர வரும் நித்யானந்த குருவே. அன்னை தந்த கைகள் என்னை ஈந்ததற்கழுவேனோ அறிவிலாதற்கழுவேனோ. அல்லாமல் நான் முகன் தன்னையே மூவேனோ ஆசை மூன்று கழுவேனோ. முன்பிறப்பு பெண்ணவினை செய்தேன் என்றழுவேனோ மூட அறிவு கழுவேனோ. முள்ளிலன் வினை வந்து மூடும் என்றழுவேனோ முக்தி வருவென் உணர்வனோ. தன்னை நுந்தழுவேனோ உன்னை நுந்தழுவேனோ தவம் என்ன என்றழுவேனோ. தையலால் கழுவேனோ மெய் வழக்கு அழுவேனோ தரித்திர திசை கழுவேனோ. இன்னும் என்ன பிறவி வருமோ என்று அழுவேனோ எல்லாம் உரைக்க வருவாய். மானிடம் பிறப்பருக்கும் ஆதாரமாய நித்யானந்த தேவா. மானிடம் பிறப்பருக்கும் ஆதாரமாய நித்யானந்த தேவா. ஆயாவும் மரமீது பூபிஞ்சருத்தரும் கண்ணியர்கள் பழி கொண்டேனோ. கடனென்று பொன் பதித்தேவையில் எரித்தேனோ கிளை வழியில் உள்ளிட்டேனோ. தாயாருடன் பிறவி என்ன வினை செய்தேனோ தந்த பொருள் இல்லை என்றேனோ. நான் என்று கருவிற்கு கொலை கடவு செய்தேனோ தவசிகளை ஏதினேனோ. வாயாரப்பை சொல்லி வீண் பொருள் பறித்தேனோ வானவரை பழித்தேனோ. வடவு போல பிறரை சேர்ப்பாதடித்தேனோ வந்த பின் என் செய்தேனோ. ஈயாதலோடு என்றே பெயர் எழுத்தேனோ எல்லாம் பொறுத்தருள்வாய். பொறுமையின் சீலனே இன்முகனேயனே நித்யானந்த தேவா. பொறுமையின் சீலனே இன்முகனேயனே நித்யானந்த தேவா. தாயாரிருந்தென்ன தந்தையுமிருந்தென்ன தன் பிறவி உறவு போடி. தனமலை குவித்தென்ன கலப்பெயர் எடுத்தென்ன தாரணியை ஆண்டும் என்ன. நித்யதேவா. ஓடி
In the year 2006, on this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism visited the Tehri Dam as a part of the Himalayan Yatra, taking with delegates of Kailasa. In the year 2007, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, on this day, May 28th, you can see the decorations performed for Nithyananda Paramashiva and Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti on this day in the year 2007. In the year 2009, on this day, Kailasa and Hyderabad offered a grand homa and performed Sri Vidya Puja in the Bahinagara temple. In the year 2011, on this day, devotees from across the globe experienced materialization with the blessings and grace of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. And in the year 2012, on this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, delivered the presidential address, Nithyananda Satsang, expanding on the topic of how enlightenment is having the readiness for action.
Let's enter into today's satsang. In Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Jnanakarma Sannyasa Yoga, 38th verse.
Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati.
Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. Translation: surely in this world there is nothing like experience that is more cleansing. One who is spontaneously ready for intense action in due course of time finds his self. I can say these sutras, these verses are my favorites. So beautifully Bhagavan is describing nothing like experience that is more cleansing. It is experience which is cleansing. It is experience which is awakening. It is experience which is everything. Bhagavan is using a beautiful word, one who is spontaneously ready for intense action. Please understand, in the beginning of actions, for example, when you begin the action of morning yoga, you would have never done it in your young age, but suddenly you want to start at the age of 20. Of course, for Dhyanapadam 20 is not young age. Young age means 10, 15. At the age of 20 you want to start. But after you start, within 2 days you set a mind frame. This is not for me. I can do for 10 minutes, not more than that. This is what is pattern. Spontaneously ready for intense action means somehow, by fortunately, you never get that idea. First 2 years, you simply do it for 2 hours a day. Then that becomes a pattern. Please understand, both are just your mental decision, whether to do it or not to do it. Because I am working with thousands of youngsters, I can see very clearly. I picked up a group and started working with them. They were so sincere because I am sitting there, I am also doing. without missing a single day. Now that group has again gone back to dogs. Because I am not working out with them, my time has changed. I am doing it on my own. Now that fellows have again gone back to the pattern of their old setup. That spontaneous readiness for intense action has disappeared. The spontaneous readiness for intense action is one of the greatest gift you can have in your life, I tell you. These are all inner wealth. The wealth of the inner world. Spontaneous readiness for action. What a beautiful word. Bhagavan is using the word Tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha. Please do this as a homework today. You have to sit and find out. In some fields, you will be having spontaneous readiness for action. For example, driving. Suddenly you may find, even if you drive 8 hours, you are not tired. You are fresh, alive, enjoying. Sometimes suddenly you may find that same spontaneous readiness for action in walking. That is why sadhus are encouraged to do Parivrajaka Yatra, walking. I am planning to go for a walk from Madurai to all our 4 temples and come back. It's a 1,000-kilometer yatra. I was earlier planning for a yatra. Now I feel it's time. I really want to do. It's a long time. I walked. Walking is a very beautiful way of discovering your readiness, spontaneous readiness for action. So your mind is always afraid of action. If I tell you, do yoga heavily morning and evening, your mind will not be spontaneously ready. But if I tell you, walk as much as you can, try this, especially as a group, with a lot of entertainment, your mind discovers the readiness for spontaneous action. Spontaneous readiness for intense action is discovered by your mind by walking. If you walk for 10 days, you will suddenly discover spontaneously your readiness for intense action. Discovering the readiness for intense action is one of the greatest inner wealth you need to have for enlightenment. In Vedanta tradition, they have something called sadhana sadushtaya, means the basic 4 things you require for enlightenment. I want to tell you, if I have to describe sadhana sadushtaya, the basic things you require for enlightenment, I will describe this. The spontaneous readiness for intense action. Not just struggling and putting up, no, spontaneous readiness for intense action. You discover that spontaneous readiness for intense action through this kind of practices like Padayatra, Sahasranama Archanas, Laksharchanas, all Pujacharyas, the people who function with feeling connection among our orders, all Pujacharyas should do Laksharchana to train themselves for the spontaneous intense action, spontaneous readiness for intense action. all our yogis, yogacharyas, should train themselves for the spontaneous readiness for intense action by this kind of long padayatras. All our jnana yogis, the people who are working through unclutching and ajapa japa, they all should prepare themselves to experience the spontaneous readiness for intense action by purascharana, means sitting whole night and doing unclutching and ajapa japa. Try this for a month. Sit, and I did it. I did this at the age of 17 when I was in the Ramakrishna Mat. My roommate is a witness. Still he comes. Today he is not here. Still he comes to the, he is in Madurai only. I'll sit on the cart with my japamala for hours, literally whole night. I'll be rolling that japamala. I'll have two japamalas, one in the one hand and the other in the other hand. If I finish one japamala completely, it's 108 times. Then the other mala, I'll move one bead. So by the time I finish moving this whole mala, I would have finished 108 into 108, means 10,000. Then I'll keep it and wash the hand and start again. That's the count. Then later on, when I moved with the Tibetan Buddhists only, I realized prayer wheel is 1,000 times more powerful than Japamala. That is why I recommend all our devotees to use prayer wheel. I had a prayer wheel in the young age, means when Kuppamal was training me, when Raghupati Yogi was training me, Raghupati Yogi is from Burma and Tibet. He was born and brought up in Burma and went to Tibet and stayed and came. Because of that, he taught me using only prayer wheel. But in the Ramakrishna mission, they use only Japamala. So after coming to the Ramakrishna mission, I started using Japamala. But only later on, I realized prayer wheel is 1,000 times better. So I recommend all our devotees sincerely to use prayer wheel, then Japamala. In Japamala, sometimes your mind gets diverted towards counting. God is not looking at your bank account. You count your beads 1 lakh time and put it in the bank account, he appears and gives you. No. Japa is done to make it as a pattern of consciousness in you, not for counting and showing the bank balance and passbook to you, passbook to God. So I recommend all our devotees to use prayer wheel. Try to sit whole night as much as you can. Sit in the bed itself. Use this prayer wheel for ajapa and sitting in a unclutched space, ananda gandha, with the smell of unclutching, flavor of unclutching, sitting with a prayer wheel. Just sit. I tell you, this is the way you will realize your spontaneous readiness for intense action in the field of unclutching and ajapa. Many of our devotees do not have self-confidence that they can meditate for long hours, they can perform unclutching for long hours, they can sit in unclutched space for long hours. They don't trust. It's very unfortunate. People don't trust their ability to sit unclutched. But this verse gives a clear understanding. Spontaneous readiness for intense action. I tell you, this is one of the basic requirement. Basic requirement. Actually, in every field, you should discover your spontaneous readiness for intense action. Even in business, you should discover your spontaneous readiness to sit in the office whole day. I tell you, if you discover your spontaneous readiness for intense action, you will not feel stressed. I still remember once, in 2005 or 6, I went to Microsoft. A group of Microsoft staff were sitting, I was talking. I could see the whole group, whoever was inside the hall, had capacity of the spontaneous readiness for intense action. I was shocked, oh God. Of course, in the outer world, but all of them were discovered that capacity in them. Then I thought, Bill Gates is worthy of being a richest person, because he is able to make people discover their spontaneous readiness for intense action. Of course, Bill Gates uses the money, the fear and greed. I cannot use money or fear and greed. The day I discover a mass process for making human beings realize their spontaneous readiness for intense action, that will be a breakthrough for the human consciousness. Because when human beings realize their spontaneous readiness for intense action, their very standard goes up. The very standard in which they are thinking, the very standard in which they are working, the very standard in which they are functioning becomes different. It is such an unfortunate thing. Human beings start having wrong patterns and do not get trained in the young age when they need to have right patterns. Please understand, this spontaneous readiness for intense action, you should have discovered it in the young age. This will be the backbone theme of our Gurukul. This spontaneous readiness for intense action should be the backbone of our Gurukul. Our kids should be made to discover their spontaneous readiness for intense action through yoga, long hours of ajapa japa, long hours of reading and studying, trying to internalize and grasp the highest and subtle concepts like a quantum physics, Big Bang theory, parallel universe. I wanted all these theories, parallel universe, Big Bang theory, quantum physics, the most subtle part of the Vedanta, Traya Vedas, means Avastatraya, Dehatraya, Kalatraya. I want all these to be syllabus in our 7th standard of Gurukul. Because 7th standard means around 12 years. That is the time the body starts experiencing the life which can create life. The physical maturity starts. See, when the body is experiencing its capacity to create another own body. That is the time the body has to discover its spontaneous readiness for intense action. Our 7th class Gurukul kids should have all these as a syllabus. Big Bang Theory, quantum physics, parallel universe, Traya Vedas, means Avastatraya, Kalatraya, Dehatraya. These Traya Vedas, all these most subtle concepts should be taught to our Gurukul kids, and intense yoga should be done, because all these will make them realize their spontaneous readiness for intense action. Please understand, all of you have it. It's not that you don't have it. But your first belief, no, I don't have, I can't, either put by somebody or created by your own. That is what is the worst crime. I can see the only difference between me and all my classmates, colleagues, who are working for 2,000 rupees still now, with searching for a job. I know many of my classmates in the school searching for a 5,000 rupee job, 2,000 rupee job, 10,000 rupee job. When I go to Thiruvannamalai, they will all queue up. I used to wonder, what is the difference between these guys and me? It's not luck, understand. You can say maybe Madurai Adinam is the luck came to me. But Dhyanapidam is not luck. Blood and sweat. I used to think, how? What is the difference between him and me? The only difference is, I discovered my spontaneous readiness for intense action by the grace of Raghupati Yogi and Kuppammal. These two have inspired me and made me discover my spontaneous readiness for intense action. I bow down to Raghupati Yogi for making me do Surya Namaskar whole day. From sunrise to sunset, he will make me do Surya Namaskar. Of course, at that time I was not very grateful for him. Now I can understand. He made me discover my spontaneous readiness for intense action. I just know now. We are basically ready for intense action. Only it is our mind which puts the bondage, restriction. I wanted all our Gurukul kids to realize this spontaneous readiness for intense action. Once you realize this one truth, the readiness for spontaneous action, spontaneous readiness for intense action, you are liberated from all the curses of life. Whether it is a curse of the poverty, or curse of the internal laziness, or curse of the cunningness, curse of the perversion, anything, you are free from all the curses of life. The moment you realize the spontaneous readiness for intense action. All spiritual practices are nothing but discovering your spontaneous readiness for intense action. Why spiritual practice? Enlightenment itself is nothing but spontaneous readiness for intense action in any field. Spontaneous readiness for intense action in the body level is yoga. Spontaneous readiness for intense action in the emotion level is bhakti. Spontaneous readiness for the intense action in the mental level is unclutching. Spontaneous readiness for the intense action in the conscious level is enlightenment. Spontaneous readiness for intense action in the psychic level is siddhis. Spontaneous readiness for intense action means without even struggling. In the initial you may have to struggle to discover your original spontaneous readiness, but in few days you will discover it. Discovering the spontaneous readiness for the intense action is enlightenment itself. The moment you discover your spontaneous readiness for intense action, you realize the self, you realize the soul, you realize the ultimate. Nahinyanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalena atmani vindati. Surely in this world there is nothing like experience that is more cleansing. One who is spontaneously ready for intense action, in due course of time finds his self. Today sit and do this as a homework in your book of art. In how many fields you already discovered the spontaneous readiness for action? Please understand, every living human being would have discovered his spontaneous readiness for intense action at least in 5 to 10 fields. And same way, every unenlightened being would not have discovered his spontaneous readiness for intense action at least in 5 to 10 fields. It means you would have discovered your spontaneous readiness at least in 5 fields. You may be struggling at least in 5 other fields. List all this and strongly decide. You will discover, even in the fields where you are struggling, your spontaneous readiness for intense action.
Paramahamsa Nithyananda, a rare living incarnation, is named among the world's 100 most spiritually influential personalities today. Paramahamsa Nithyananda has been placed alongside Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, Paulo Coelho and others by my
In the year 2013, on this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism delivered the presidential address, the Nithyananda Satsang, delivering the essence of the Inner Awakening program, explaining while the program itself may be over, the science of completion leading to the lifestyle of living enlightenment must continue.
Nithyanandeshwara Samarambam Nityanandeshwari Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. I welcome you all with my love and respects. इस समय हमारे साथ उपस्थित सभी दर्शकों और भक्तों का मैं प्रेम एवं आशीर्वाद सहित स्वागत करता हूँ. Today first thing we will start with the launch of our monthly English magazine Nithyananda Times, and magazine and website also www.nithyanandatimes.org. To subscribe, you can visit to the website www.nithyanandatimes.org. My blessings to the team for bringing out the Nithyananda Times magazine finally. The word finally has a lot of meaning. Blessings to the team. Alpana Agarwal, Trisha Singh, Anshuman Singh, Atma Manohari, Ma Ananda Yoganandini. Blessings to the whole team. My blessings. The magazine should come regularly. Every month. Blessings. And today, the subject for the satsang, essence of inner awakening. The takeaway message for you, please listen. Usually human beings, when you hear too many words uttered, especially same person talking continuously for 21 days, you get into an automatic mode of non-doing. Listen. If somebody talks to you 21 days continuously, you start thinking, he will tell too many things, I think he's going beyond my head, I don't think I'll be able to do everything. You just dump him in a corner, such a way unconsciously you reject him. You are not doing by his words. You don't get out of your couch and do something by his words. He loses the capacity to make you do something. Now, listen. Now, I want you to come out of this mode. Listen now whatever I am saying. Come to the space of listening. I am giving you the essence. Don't think or don't keep me in the mode of, he talks so many things, how can I? Now, I am giving you the essence. Don't miss even one line. First thing I wanted to tell you, next 6 months, please continuously do completion. completion with you and with others. Go on completing. When you complete with others, you will find deeper and deeper root patterns. When you complete with you, you will find deeper and deeper root patterns. Root pattern is not one. It is multiple root pattern. Root of all the root patterns will be one. But root patterns itself will be many. So first, listen. First, next 6 months, continuously decide listen, continuously decide to complete. Whenever you have panic attack, whenever you have fear attack, whenever you have feeling of powerlessness, immediately don't waste that time, don't miss that time, don't miss that opportunity. Look in, find the root pattern responsible for you feeling powerless. Take the time to complete with you, complete with others. Next 6 months, take this completion. Understand, if you have not attended the inner awakening, can you ever imagine what all you would have missed? How many of you understand? If you have not attended inner awakening, you would have missed really so many things. Raise your hand. So same way I tell you, if you don't do completion for next 6 months with authenticity, you will miss so many things. I can't even tell you what all you will miss. So next 6 months, take this completion process with you and others as a lifestyle. Tomorrow is June. In next few days, the June is starting. June, August, September, October, November, December. 6 full months till January 1st. Do completion. Continuously complete with you and with others. January 1st is the day you can expect a new being happening in you. Please understand. The transformation which you are experiencing may be great but not enough. You may think, wow, what I have achieved, what I have become, wow. It may be great but not enough. Don't think, this is enough for me. No. That is not authenticity. I would sincerely request, take these 6 months as a period of completion and plan for coming back January 1st to the ashram to have a darshan. See, this plan for the January 1st is just to make you understand So that you will remember continuously these 6 months, you have to complete. January 1st, decide you are going to have one more initiation in Biddi campus with Swamiji. So understand, these 6 months, you have to move yourself to do completion. Unless you do completion with yourself and with others, as I said during the sessions, even the people who are in the street, if they have caused some pain or powerlessness in you, you have to complete with them. You have to complete with them. So, first step is completion. I tell you, when you complete, only in that space of completion, the 4 tattvas become reality. The space you create will become reality. Space you create will become reality. Only when you create some space and that becomes reality, you will be successful. Listen. Listen. It is all one will lead to another. You may ask, how do I know I have completed? I am in completion. I am complete. Simply others around you will be enriched by you. Simply others around you will be enriched by you. When you are complete, everyone around you will be enriched by you like anything. Nobody needs to tell you to enrich others. Constantly you will be enriching. Others will feel enriched. How many people around you feel enriched is the direct measure. We can find out how much of completion you reached. What level of completion you reached. I also wanted to tell you one thing. Sannyas is more living the quality of sannyas than changing the robes. If you are authentic wherever you are, live the qualities of sannyas. Sannyas is nothing but the living in completion and enriching others. And I tell you, without feeling shy, I tell you, I do have some fellows who are wearing this robe, staying even inside my sangha, but who are not sannyasis, who have not done completion, who are not enriching, still stuck with some of their patterns and working on it. So it is not just changing the robe, it is changing the space. Waste that time, don't miss that time, don't miss that opportunity. Look in, find the root pattern responsible for you feeling powerless. Take the time to complete with you, complete with others. Next 6 months, take this completion. Understand, If you have not attended the inner awakening, can you ever imagine what all you would have missed? How many of you understand? If you have not attended inner awakening, you would have missed really so many things. Raise your hand. So same way I tell you, if you don't do completion for next 6 months with authenticity, you will miss so many things. I can't even tell you what all you will miss. So next 6 months, take this completion process with you and others as a lifestyle. Tomorrow is June. In next few days, the June is starting. June, August, September, October, November, December. 6 full months till January 1st. Do completion. 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 Continuously complete with you and with others. January 1st is the day you can expect a new being happening in you. Please understand. The transformation which you are experiencing may be great but not enough. You may think, wow, what I have achieved, what I have become, wow. It may be great but not enough. Don't think, this is enough for me. No. That is not authenticity. I would sincerely request, take these 6 months as a period of completion and plan for coming back January 1st to the ashram to have a darshan. See, this plan for the January 1st is just to make you understand, so that you will remember continuously these 6 months. You have to complete. January 1st, decide you are going to have one more initiation in Biddi campus with Swamiji. So understand,
Nithyananda Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda.
On this day in the year 2014, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, in the presidential address, Nithyananda Satsang, introduced a new word, Advaitic activism, which is being active from the context of completion. He told how to work with your teamily, which is a known component of you to understand and become aware of tiredness, boredom, and non-cooperation. Then he explained how to use deep sleep and morning freshness as a scale to measure our completion and possibility. Nirahara and completion for 21 days will put you back into Advaitic activism. In the year 2016, Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, along with delegates from Kailasa, attended the Ujjain Simhasta Kumbh Mela, and there are a lot of sharings of the Simhasta Kumbh Mela along with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. In the year 2017, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism expanded on how sannyasis are not trained just for their own enlightenment, as they act as a bridge for millions of people to cross on the path of enlightenment as well.
In my life, nothing like the sannyas breakthrough. That breakthrough really does something totally different to you. That is totally different. See, the purpose and the whole sannyas concept is for a different level. Na? It's for a differently, altogether different level. See, whatever is said and done, it is sannyasis who are trained as acharyas. They are not trained just for their own enlightenment. See, the grihasthas living on the path of enlightenment is like a boat. They can save themselves. Sannyasis on the path is like a bridge, not just saving themselves. They are there for millions of people to cross. So boat and the bridge cannot be compared, whatever is said and done. So all these kind of ideals and ideas I do encourage. Anywhere I am not encouraging means I am not seeing you qualified, so I am compromising. My compromised answers are not my responses. What I lived is my response. What I lived and living is my response. Anything else is for your level.
In the year 2018, on this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, along with Adi Kailasa Nithyananda Paramashivam Devalayam, celebrated the last day of Nityananda Purnima Brahmotsavam, the 10-day festival, which culminates on the day the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism experienced his first living enlightenment experience on the sacred Pavakundra hill in Tiruvannamalai. In 1990, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had the 360-degree vision experience at the age of 12. In the year 2020, Kailasa's Department of Information Broadcasting, in collaboration with Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Peacekeeping, aimed at eradicating violence and promoting peace, telecasted the Nityananda Satsang on experiencing the real freedom revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explained that an abundance of choices does not equate to freedom. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism also expounded upon the paradoxical nature of freedom, saying that the ability to command the universe with will persistence is the real freedom. Exercising this freedom gives happiness and awakens power manifestation. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism worked further on raising the consciousness of the delegates by bestowing them with the Ashta Bhairava Swarna Akasha Bhairava darshan for the day. In the year 2021, on this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, along with Adi Kailasa Nithyananda Paramashivam Devalayam, performed the Guru Puja for Thirugnana Sambandar. Thirugnana Sambandar Swamigal is the incarnation of Paramashiva, the reviver of Madurai Adinam, Shamla Pita Sarvanya Pitam, and the Guru Madalvar of Madurai Adinam. Thirugnana Sambandar Swamigal, incarnated as the son of Shivapada Hirayar and Bhagavatiyar in the temple town of Sirgari 20,000 years ago. Thirugnana Sambandar was born in the holy town of Sirgari, Tamil Nadu in the Chola Empire. Assuming the human body for only 16 years, the purpose of his divine incarnation was to revive and re-establish the pure enlightenment science of Vedic tradition, which he declared as the only philosophy of Kailasa under the Shamla Pita Sarvanya Pitam. All the rituals that happen in Adi Kailasa were personally micromanaged and officiated by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Swamiji's great revival for Hinduism is unparalleled, along with his love and devotion to the sacred sentiments and traditions of the Madurai Adinam, begun by Meenakshi herself. Here you can see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism personally offering the Guru Puja to Lord Thirugnana Sambandar. And now, a little bit about the Paramashivoham Level 3 program, which is happening for the second time after 3 years, happening from July 13th to August 3rd. The Paramashivoham program is an immersive 21-day awakening event to teach you the science of manifesting the ultimate consciousness in you. This Paramashivoham manifests the deeper experiences of 25 states of consciousness, vertical time zones, and power manifestation. To learn more about the program or to register yourself, you can visit kailasa.org/Paramashivoham. And so now with this, we come to the end of today's segment. And now it is time to prepare ourselves to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism for the Nithyananda Satsang. Please sit straight with your head, neck, and spine in a straight line. And visualize Swamiji sitting inside your inner space as Paramashiva with the 25 heads and 50 hands. Start chanting the Mahavakya mantra, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, and allow the mantra to reverberate throughout your entire body. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Continue to be in the same space of deep restful awareness as we get ready for the Nithyananda Satsang.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham